Someone recently asked my oldest friend what I was like in high school, and he said I was kind of an asshole. And I laughed, and then I didn't. I wouldn't have described myself that way, but I also wouldn't have known how to describe myself from the outside. Back then, I thought I was warm, quick with a joke, inclusive, energetic, but I did have this opinion I lived by that if I made a joke and somebody got offended, that was their problem. I genuinely believed that intention was the whole equation. And if I offended someone, I just figured that was miscommunication and shrug it off. At least that's what I told myself. After that comment, I started replaying old memories differently. Conversations that I remembered as being light started to look like a little sharper. Moments I thought were playful felt now one sided. It was a little uncomfortable. We get to experience our intentions, but other people experience our impact. You can feel funny and kind or engaged, but some traits don't exist privately. They only exist in interaction. You're the only person you can't step outside of. You can't feel what it's like to meet you for the first time, or sit across from you in a room. That's just geometry. There's an entire side of who we are that's structurally unavailable to us. It's the gap between how we attempt to come across and how we actually do come across. I had a college art professor who graded differently. Instead of critiquing style, he'd ask what you were trying to express and then grade you on whether or not it came through. At the time, I thought, it's pretty generous, but now I think it's actually precise. Intent didn't matter if it didn't translate, and identity works the same way. You don't notice your own facial micro expressions. You don't hear the edge in your voice, and you don't experience your consistency across months or years even. You only get to experience moments, but other people experience patterns. That doesn't mean they understand everything about you, but it does mean you don't have the full picture without them. Of course, not everyone gets a vote on who you are. We have to be able to distinguish between what's information and what's noise. Strangers see a frame of you, but someone who knows you well sees a film. A stranger can't tell if some off-color comment is just you having a bad day or part of who you are. But someone close to you can actually let you know if they see a pattern. I used to have this issue with constantly cutting people off mid-sentence. I thought I was being engaged, and I would just kind of get anxious about losing my thoughts. I felt okay with how animated I thought I was being in conversation. But a friend of mine told me that it actually took him a lot of effort to build the momentum to speak at all. And then when I interrupted, it just kind of collapsed. He couldn't easily get back the courage that it took him to speak in the first place, and my face just went hot. I thought I was adding energy, but I didn't realize that I might have just been removing oxygen. It was partly a personality mismatch, but it was also a blind spot. And as embarrassing as it was, I was actually grateful to learn something that I wouldn't have been able to discover on my own. We're often told not to care what people think, and that can be freeing. But taken too far, it also removes this friction that we need to correct. Reject all outside perception, and you don't become strong, you become uncorrectable. It's not that identity hardens into something evil, but it drifts quietly into a version that only you can see. I used to think it was strange that all the assholes of the world just seemed completely oblivious to how they were coming across. So it was humbling to realize that I might have been one of them. You don't need everyone's opinion on who you are, but you probably do need a few people in your life who understand what it is you're trying to become and are willing to let you know if you're missing it. Because if no one tells you, you'll just keep refining a version that only you can see.